Hey, Intersession, it's Lee. I'm just checking in. We're about halfway done, and we're now hitting that part of the intersession where people stop submitting work or fall behind, and I get like panicked emails about how that's going to work and all this stuff. So I'm just going to reiterate what is already in the syllabus, but now may be more relevant to you. And since it's unexpected, a lot of people just assume the syllabus says like no late work, 10 points off or whatever. So it might be worth it to go back to just read the part about late work because I think it would put a lot of your mind at ease. And for those of you who haven't fallen behind, great, like let's keep that up. But it doesn't hurt to know your options. So essentially, what we know about education is that the best thing for you is revision and revision and more revision. Meaning, if I could give you infinite number of revisions on an assignment, I would. It's the best way for you to learn. Write it, get feedback. Speak it, get feedback. Do it again. Do it again. Right, that's the best way. But we, number one, we have this 3.5 weeks and we got a lot to do. And number two, I can't just give you infinite time because at some point I have to turn in a grade. And in my experience, which I've had a lot of them, incompletes almost always don't work because people turn in work 8 weeks later when they're out of touch with the class and they don't know what's going on. And very often that work doesn't get a passing grade. So I'm really try to create policies where we don't need incompletes. Although stuff happens, people get hospitalized, people have fires. I mean, all kinds of hope none of that does happen, but obviously there are exceptions. But I would say probably 9 times out of 10, maybe 9.5 times out of 10, I really resist the temptation because A, I probably won't agree to it knowing what I know, and B, it's really stressful. You think it's stressful now, it's way more stressful to do it that way. So the way that I've done that, kind of like worked around the issue, is that I give you due dates for stuff. I give you due dates for feedback. I give you due dates for assignments. And then I try to get them graded as fast as I can. And I accept everything up until I'm done grading, right? So at this point, you probably figured that out. Then there's the issue of like, well, what if I don't? So with the feedback, I just can't I can't have like a never-ending cycle of feedback because I need to work in like shifts, right? Because I, much like you, procrastinate and don't want to do work and get distracted. So I have systems that allow me to be very efficient as a teacher and make sure you get your stuff back as fast as I can do it. So if the feedback window closes, right? So you were supposed to submit your, thesis or whatever, then just submit the thesis for the next whatever. Don't skip phases because there's nothing worse than you didn't get your thesis checked and now you've written a whole 2-page draft, but the thesis was faulty. So all that work you've done has to be redone. You can also reach out. You can text. I have that remind system. I have my email. At any point you can shoot me a message and ask for feedback on something. And if I can get to it, I will. So it's fine to work outside the formal channels. It's just not ideal, but nothing bad will happen. I just may not see it or get to it in time or whatever. But for graded assignments, the way it works is you want to get stuff in by the time it's graded, like within that window. You just do. I know your brain is going to want to tell you all the reasons why you can do it later or make it up later or let's just wait but it's not good. It's not a good idea. It's just like not a good idea. But if you've already missed an assignment or coming up with the next assignment, you missed that one, then the way it works is I just basically give you a 0 for the assignment for now, mostly to scare you. And so, and to keep track of so that the grade the whole way through, right? That's important. But the last day of classes, whatever day that is, you can check the calendar. I'm not going to commit to it, but whatever the last day of classes is, I will accept late work up until the end of that day. And that's strictly because I have to get grades in. So I don't have 5 days to grade. And you got to imagine if 25 people each turn in an assignment, that's a lot of work. I can't just be doing that in 15 minutes. But I like to move forward with the semester. Do not like this whole thing where you have to make up something you've missed and also be moving forward. It doesn't work. So you, of course, can do whatever you want. So if you miss an assignment 2 days ago and now we should be moving on to the next assignment, if you want to try and do both at once, I think that's fine. But once again, experience has taught me that is a recipe for overwhelm and stress, and whatever was already causing you to miss assignments just gets exacerbated. So my feeling is just pause, move forward, and then if you do the remaining assignments, and you pass all of them, obviously, because if you get 2 Fs, there's really no point at that point. Then at the end, we can catch up whatever's behind. What if then again, it's like, but what if you turned in something because you rushed it and it was on time, but it sucked? So you also get to do this, right? So if you turned in an assignment and you got a C and you really wanted to do better, great. Well, same thing, right? We get to the end of the semester, that last day comes, you turn around, you do some revisions, and you send in a new, you just resubmit it. So, and basically what'll happen is you'll get kind of an announcement from me. Right now I've closed all of the assignments because I don't want people just randomly submitting stuff and then I don't know what's going on. So everything's closed that's past due. And so what'll happen is I will open everything back up, like the last maybe 2 days of the semester. I'll send out a mass message that's like, hey, last call for whatever hasn't been turned in yet. And then you'll just be able to go into Canvas and submit everything. I definitely don't want things coming to me by email. I mean, that's a recipe for me losing track of stuff, or you saying you sent an email, but you didn't send an email. I mean, everything goes through Canvas. So that is kind of the gist. And it seems like, great, like this is an amazing solution. I'll just wait till the end of the semester to do everything. That's a no. You can't, like, don't do that. You won't pass. I promise you. You cannot do, you can't do 16 weeks of work in 4 weeks and then do 4 weeks of 16 weeks of work in 4 days and get a passing grade. And I will check them. I mean, I will go through and I will do my due diligence. So I'm not just going to give you a higher grade just because you turned in something else, because, obviously, like, you have to make the improvements. The other thing to remember is that we do have stuff due the last day. So your final assignment for the semester is due the very last day of class. And so if you are a person who is trying to make up an assignment or improve an assignment, what you're going to want to do is get that last assignment. So basically, if the assignment is due, I don't know, the very last day of the month or whatever, it's not, but that's just hypothetical. You probably are going to want to plan to say, like, okay, I'm going to finish all the remaining assignments by 2 days ahead of time, right? So they're due whatever, I'm going to do 2 days ahead of when everyone else does it. That then gives you the 2-day window to get whatever is missing or that you want to improve or that you want to make up done by the time it has to be done, right? So again, I know this is not straightforward, but it is the best way I found to be fair to you and also, kind of like deal with the constraints of like having a deadline that I have to submit grades by. But you're welcome to reach out with questions. If you get feedback and you are thinking about using the feedback to revise an assignment, I'm happy to chat about it. If you don't understand the feedback or don't agree with it, I mean, that's, my job. And I'm not like, I know intersession's difficult, and I know some of you are doing this when you're tired, you're making up classes that you don't want to make up. Some of you are taking way too many credits. I don't even know how you were allowed to do that. And I wish I could be more flexible, but I have tried to achieve like maximum flexibility. So again, I mean, it's like stay on schedule, reach out for help if you need it, including, hey, I know this assignment was supposed to be in 2 days ago, and I'm just procrastinating and swimming around in my own like dissatisfaction. That's a perfectly good reason to reach out, right? If you're indecisive about topics, if you hit a sticking point, I don't know, if I give you some feedback in a low grade and you're like bummed out about it and it makes you feel like shit, it's like, cool, reach out. I'll make you feel better about it, move on, like get the rest of the shit done, and then you get to circle back and fix it. You see what I mean? So nothing is set in stone at this point, which is why I'm sort of sending the video now, because we have, I think like a little less than a week left of class-ish, so actually more than halfway. But none of you are at this point doomed at all, even if you haven't submitted stuff. But that's not to say that means the next like 10 days you can just take it easy. You're going to have to make some decisions right now about like what's important, and you're going to have to look at a calendar and make a plan, and then you're going to have to follow the plan, and you're going to have to reach out for support if you don't follow or not following the plan. I mean, it doesn't have to be me. I mean, there's other people at Geneseo that can help you. Maybe you have people who you can reach out to in your circle. I don't know. I get nervous because I start to see like little skips and little declines in performance, and I know they're fixable, but I don't always know that you know they're fixable, and also we don't have like infinite time to fix them. But I think you'll find the plan is doable, and it gives you enough breathing room without being ridiculous, but you also can't just like take 5 days off to watch Netflix, as much as we would all like to do that right now. And I get it. I'm tired too. And then we turn right around and go right back to school. So I have tried not to assign you work on the weekends. Hopefully some of you are taking advantage of that break. But again, if you haven't been turning in work and now you're having to play catch up, like the weekend is when you're going to have to play catch up, and I wish you didn't, but you just do your best. But procrastination is your enemy. And the voice in your head that tells you you'll do it tomorrow, it's like if you didn't do it today and you didn't do it yesterday, You're not going to do it tomorrow. So you have to remember that that voice is lying to you, as is the voice that tells you that this has to be perfect and everything has to be right and you have to pick the perfect topic. And like, that's also not true, because plenty of people turn in assignments that are not perfect and have lots of little mistakes along the way, but are still really good. And it's like, we're not looking for perfection here. We're just looking for competence in just a series of skills that I've laid out that you have to demonstrate. And if any of that is not working for you, reach out. You can send a remind, you can send an email, we can set up a video meeting, I can call you on the phone, whatever you need. So I hope this has been helpful. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.